Okay. Should be working now. Huh. Test. Okay. Now it's working. And just in case, check the content. Oh, save. Okay. Should be okay, and we should be setting up. Hi, this is Ink, and this is game development with Godot and C#. It's been a while, and I'm not sure where we left off much. Good luck, check out the commits. All commits. And I don't think so. Yeah, I still was working on the bindings. I don't really remember much what changed. Just a bunch of code. Yeah, let's play some music. We still have these, and what does it do? Oh, I think there was problem of not getting an update. Wait. And press on the good button. Well, yeah, this is done. Custom button. How to get position? Probably like can assign event handle to each of the buttons. Because at the moment, if I press the button, it does not get the position. I'm not sure. Cell states. it's so. Mm-hmm. Continue. Get a attempted to divide by 0 problem. Okay, that's not good. It's getting the row and index of the button itself. Probably because the button does not hold that information. Grid button. It's definitely because it does not hold that information. Grid model. Rows and columns. Try again. Grid model. Rows and columns. Oh, the rows method probably does... Nope, that's not the rows method that's problematic. It's... button index? No, it's the rows method that does not return the right thing. Does it even have rows? Grid model. Rows. Columns. Yeah, it is here. Okay. Okay. Close this one. So the problem is that grid model rows does not return a thingy. Okay. Grid rows. Just add binary grid. Dot rows suppose not return amount of rows. It returns 0 for some reason. And binary grids, move it to the side. Why does that return 0? Because it tries getting the length of grid. Okay. We get length. That's probably because it's a basic array instead of object array. Continue. Grid. Get length. Zero times 49. Is it not correct? Constants. Is it just wrong dimensions? Rows, columns. Oh, my Windows just ran away. Okay, I found it. It is get grid dimensions. This does not return the correct one. Get grid dimensions. And how do we know that? Just from the list? I really cannot, because if it's not a square, then how should I know? Yeah, that is a problem. This is not correct. Get grid dimensions is not correct. Correct only works for square grids, which in our case definitely can be not square. So which means I need actual dimensions. Binary grid. Wait, where is it even used? Get grid dimensions. Here we provide a list of buttons. Which definitely does not give enough details on what kind of dimension should it be. Whoops. Four dimensions. Yeah, just from the list of buttons. There is no way to know how much of it there is. Okay, and it's used the binary grid. Bind. In the bind method. Grid buttons. I guess, yeah, let's just add properties for rows and columns. It will be, no, come on. Rows, columns. Then the binary grid should have rows and columns in here. Rows, columns, calls. The binary grid, it's a private method. And rows and columns. Then I do not need this one. Then I also do not need this method. Rows and columns. I provide amount of buttons and then it should assign it to the cell types. Now the only thing that they need to ensure, oh, it does have this. Yeah, I need to ensure that the rows and columns are actually set. Somehow. grid container UI or button pressed? It's in the level designer. And the level designer should have rows and columns numeric input. Okay. So do I like add rows and columns into here? This for some reason does not feel right. How do you pass the rows and columns into the grid container view model? During the bind? Ugh. Oh no, I actually know how to do this. I just rows. Yeah. I need to ignore this one. Suppress issues. Silent. Okay. So using the numeric inputs, I bind it, and these should be updated. Still not sure if this is correct, but it should help a bit. Let's see. Binary grid 0 0. Good. Row 0, column 0. Why? Okay. Row still 0. Huh. That's a pain. Options item select and update. Grid container. This is not okay. Not okay at all. And now we just click it. Oh look, it didn't stop. I guess because it did not bind. Nope. Dude, that's not good. Update button. Updating model. A bunch of buttons. I don't know, maybe just add a new type for the button itself. Maybe that would work. Okay. Because currently it's just like... I guess the problem is just with the copying and binding the data to UI. Bind grid VM. Yeah, I guess we just need a different type of buttons. So if we go to and then it also would change up binary grid model maybe. Yeah. Scripts. Add new folder. models. I don't know. CSS? Never use it. I don't know. I use Python Godot script. Let me switch the scene. Yeah, Godot script stuff, but no CSS. I don't use CSS for creating games because I don't know how to do that, and that is the point. You just pick what you know. Where's my scene? Okay, so add new class, call it cell model. Maybe? We'll see. Cell model. This one will be public. And the cell model should have what? These two. Game development is about a year, specifically with Godot engine. As for C#, like it's like multiple years, like over like 8 maybe. So quite a bit. So at the moment it's a bit, yeah, using game engines and making everything from scratch is a bit different, and I'm trying to get the hang of it. As yeah, the first game I made was with Godot script, but it's definitely, when we reach certain kind of complexities, it's difficult in the scripting language, not typed language. Okay. Have the cell state. State and type. Which in this case, yeah, state and type. And menu position. Position. Do I need to have the position? Not sure. I have just I positionable. Yeah, sure. Let's first move these to interface. Nope. Refactoring. Where's the extract interface? Public. Extract base class. ISO model. Okay. Generate new file. Where do you hold the interfaces? I don't remember. Okay, all these. ISL model. And then this one would be I positionably. Positionable would be in throw column. Yeah, autocomplete. Amazing. We need to add the description. If an object has a position, yep. Base. Amazing. Autocomplete. Amazing. Positionable. Cell model. Implement explicitly, no. This one should be the same. Getter setter. Add another constructor. Empty? Not really. It's more like implement cell model. By default, introduce cost constant. Use primary constructor. Okay, so that's cell model, which holds the cell state and type, which we need to describe. Cell type. Cell type is what? Is possible options. Options. It will be empty, input, output, and fixed. Fixed cannot be changed with a simulation. Output cells are resulting as red. Input cells initial state is set. Maybe. More like the user can interact. And empty is self-explanatory. Okay. And the state is where electrons, locate them in the cell. Possible options, yep. Perfect autocomplete. A. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Up. Wow, the autocomplete just amazing. This is just great level. Okay. Cell model. Cell model. And this should have a but scripts UI main numeric input new class. It will be a cell button. Nope. Cell button. Yeah, the base class is button. And it will have an interface. iCell model. Perhaps iCell model. Got through. Partial. Or because it's implementing the base class. This is why the Godot is a bit silly. It does not have interfaces, it only abstract classes. So it's a bit funky. Okay, I would have cell type, state, make it regular get set. I guess to the point I would say this is almost like a boilerplate get set. Let's see. And the button itself. Okay, I probably need to check on the grid container UI. In grid container UI, the button is added, changes the minimum size. And it also adds texture rectangles. Okay, public self type. Texture. Texture rectangle, texture. Texture. You could even add a custom type here. Yeah, so I would not need to update it to stuff custom. Or not. Let's just make texture rectangle. State texture rectangle. And arrow column. Select button. I don't know. Okay. Set the textures. Set cell options. Set icons. Button. Current cell state. Set icons. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff it suggests. Stage mode. Okay. Icon. Button icon. Button icon, and where is the button icon? Button icon. Is being set somewhere. Okay. And update grid. It's just going back and forth a lot. Okay, so we have a way to store the type, we have a way to store the state, we have a way to store row, column, and we will have two rectangles which would be representing the state and column. So in a way, when the cell state changes or type changes, it should also update the texture rectangles. So yeah, so I would not need to do the texturing in the background. Wow, this is great. This is pretty good. I really like the quality of the autocomplete here. Empty. Okay. And the same thing for the cell state. Empty by default. And almost identical method to this. State. Generate method for that, generate method for that. Fix the locations of these methods because that's not how you do that. Okay. So it should have private paths. String, const string. Yep. Almost. Base type path. Close. Close. Actually, it may be just actually correct. Yeah, sprites QCSL states. Yep. This seems to be correct. Okay. So cell state texture. Do you need to do switch? Okay. Argument null exception. Throw if null. Seems to be okay. State path. Perfect. Just perfect. And not to be confused, that the state path also should be verified in case I misplace my icons. Invalid operation. Oh. Can I do argument section? Null of empty. Okay, I really cannot do that. This is, yeah, this is correct. Nice. And we need to invert it. We return it, we remove the else for better readability. So, yeah, if it does not exist, otherwise load the texture. Yeah, this is pretty accurate. State to string. Base state path and almost identical method to this one. Let's check the autocomplete. Nice. Cell type, base type, type to string, but not type to string, state to string, and type to string because we don't use private. Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, so from now on, when we have the cell button, we only update the types and state, and that would change the texture. Hopefully, we'll see. So I will not be needing to handle this on the higher levels. Yeah. In some way we could try test it out in that way. Make sure it's a global class. Oh, we cannot change this, the type and the state. Okay, I don't think this is the way to do this. Yeah, because the cell type and state is not a int or float or number or string, so the Godot does not handle these kind of thingies. Yes, much language. Mm-hmm. Sell button. Sell model. So looking back at the grid container UI, instead of doing like adding the button like this, min size and then okay. Button pressed. Button. So instead of doing this one, I would be adding a sell button. And sell button should have a row. Column. And then we attach the same event. Yeah. Grid buttons add button. Grid button pressed. Can I override this method so I could, or don't need it to? And instead of sell button here, we can have sell button here. Yes. Basically nothing changes. Update the grid. Set icons. That's a bit different thingy. We do set the rows and columns. We do not set the state because it's initially empty. Set icons. Now, do we need this one? Kinda not. Here we need to. Okay, we have current cell type and current cell state, which is texture 2D. Which in this case, not correct. It should be the state itself. But how do you set these? Forgot. Set some options. I think it's in the level designer. Yeah. Yeah, the level designer should be handling which cell is pressed. Yeah, this one. Mm-hmm. Selected type. Get selected items. Oh yeah, that's... Get selected items. Item list has just a bunch of option items, which are added manually, which are basically typeless. Item list. Yeah. It's a typeless. So instead of handling the textures here, I can just handle the values here. Yeah. Already doing that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Current cell type. So instead of texture 2D, it should be cell type. Cell state. Yeah. And the cell button. That's not relevant. This one is not needed. Set icons. Does not set icons, but update the state. Cell button. I don't even need to have those. Type, state, and that's it. Simple. Okay. So update the grid, add the child to the grid. That is correct. I think this is okay. Get the hover button. Button is hovered. Yeah, that's the problem of this. Hi, checks. Can you elaborate why I should choose Bevy and Rust? Heard about Rust, I haven't heard about Bevy. Bevi, I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, I haven't heard about it. Because generally you have, like, if it was like embedded, maybe, but it's not. It's UI for graphical game in the game engine, which does not support these languages. Okay, grid button pressed. Index of the button. Cell button. Uses ECS. It's a Rust game engine. Oh, it is an engine. Interesting. Let's check the images. Looks a bit bare bones. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe if someday I would be learning Rust, maybe I could use it. At the moment, can you like compare it like between those two engines? Like what's the difference between Godot and Bevy engine? Apart from all languages. Set icons. Grid button pressed. Yeah, if I knew Rust, maybe I would be considering, but I'm not planning on learning that language. Does not meet my requirements. I'm just picking the tool I know the best, so I could produce the thing fast. Yeah. It may not be the best tool for the job, but it's a tool I know, which is the best tool for the job. I haven't got much experience with Godot, but the main difference is the Bevy uses entity component system, but Godot uses traditional game loop. Yeah, I don't know the data about these. I think the Unity also uses entity components. So yeah, that would require knowing a bit more about these kind of systems. I guess it could be that I'm also currently just coding in a different kind of architecture that Godot should be supporting. But the thing is, as I'm doing most of the things in the backend, I can't port it. Well, if you're just doing in the editor, well, good luck if you need to reuse some parts. Or just even write tests. Set cell options. It sets these guys. So I remove the texture to D from this place. Button icon. Yeah, the button icon is just for setting the backend for the icon, so you can do that in the editor. And it should not impact our views. I think, yeah. What do you... Are you still on? Yeah, checks what kind of experience then you do have. Maybe you made something and like to share. Texture button. Okay. Grid button pressed. That's not okay. Grid button pressed. This does not require indexing because, well, indexing rows and columns because it takes the hovered option. Button. Guess. Let's go back in this place. Grid containers, cell options. So here there is a, it requires cell state and cell type, which we need to figure out from the selected item. Options item selected. We go back to Godot. Open Godot. And the level designer. And then we have the item list. The scene. Cell type container. Well, state item list. Yeah, so currently it's, well, typeless, which means I cannot add additional properties to that. And as you can see, it's an item list, but no item. And the problem is then, if I use indexing, that's not okay. Yeah, for example, in VPF, or just any .NET application, if you have item selected event, it actually returns the item itself. Here it returns the index. That's so not good. And maybe, and you can't really well tell it what's it's using. Maybe then it need to have like some kind of indexing differently. Like item list. Why is it saying that it's no? Because Godot. Private. List. Cell states. Get values to list. Get values. This item list does not support custom types nor recurrent color. An item changed. We can, yeah. In this way, I don't have a hard-coded list. It's more like in the way we define the anon, which matches the visual. Yeah, the way we coded the anon matches the visual arrangement. Me personally would probably do that differently if I could. But this then could be used to that's too difficult. Yeah, that's read only. An option item selected. That's not okay. It needs to have separate events. An option item selected on type selected and on state selected. I don't know, I don't need this one. I don't need this one. On type selected, on state selected, set still options. Then this method could also change to have separate thingies. Public, yeah, state, type. This is not needed. State, right? Guess it only changes one at a time. It will be never two at a time. And it will be cells types from index. From long to end. And yeah. And the really important check is to validate this. If okay, now this time the autocomplete is a bit over. But yeah, in principle we need to check and get item. Oh, no. Get child, no. Count. Count. It's not equal to SL state scout. We'll be not adding new items because reasons. Yes. And identical for the type. List this as same element yeah, quite descriptive what it does. Option selected. So it should not go out of bounds. And something, I don't know. Maybe. Grid container. Let's check. Oh wait, I forgot I was not showing stuff. Amazing. Okay. At least the indexing seems to be working. Click. Nothing happened. No. Settings. Update. Again, nothing is happening. Okay, there are errors. Oh, I know why. Because of the legacy code. Because this one. Yeah. It's legacy. Which may break a lot of our stuff. Yeah, I mean. Fixed. Technically okay. Will it work? I'm not sure. That's why we test. That's why we can test, and nothing will go wrong because it's just a game engine, not nuclear power plant. And it's not working. Cell type item list has 5 items, but there are 4 types. And why does it have wait items? Input output fixed. Oh, it's neutral. Okay. So neutral. and the empty goes into the back just as visuals. Okay. Where's my thingy? Yeah, the empty is in the back. Though I would say it would be more correct to have switch up these. Empty. No. No. Empty. Go up. Empty. Go up. Go up. And fix neutral with this. Yeah. Same with here. Because empty should be always default, just because of error handling. This one to the top. Okay, okay. Up, up. Save. So now it should be okay. Okay. Let's go. It does nothing. Darn it. Yeah, of course the bindings are not working anymore. Okay, stop debugging, go back to the code. Run it and check out what's happening actually. Okay, that's casting problems. Unable to cast type cell button to button. Okay, so somewhere I'm casting cell buttons to buttons. Level designer, line 56. Okay, bind. Bind. View model, bind. Year. Cell button. Okay. Yep. Yeah, let's have a short break. I'll be right back and finish. I'm back. Where was I? Oh, in here. Cell types. Oh, that's just binding methods. To binary grid. Okay. So the binding does what? Takes the size of all array and binds the cell up buttons and converts the list of the buttons into the binary grid. And also assigns the event handler when the button is pressed. So here you can see the problem with Godot, that the button pressed does not return which button pressed, like a reference to itself. So in this case, who called this? Who knows? It's a native base button thingy which does not have the who pressed it. I really do not like that kind of thing, and it's either this or I can change the base method, extend it. I think it's also because they wanted to make it not too different from the scripting. Maybe. Is it relevant? Not really. So we get the hovered button. Hovered button is cell button. But now, oh, this is kind of dumb, but it works. It definitely works. We get the hovered button. The hovered button itself has row and columns. So I can just do button dot row and bottom dot column. Yeah. Button index. Don't need this one. Do not need this one. Do not need this one. And just directly set it. Button. State. Way better. Type. Yeah. When the button is pressed, it just says the main grid. State and type. Okay. And now to the binary grid. Need to check out this one. Button list. Buttons. don't even need this one, because the button list would simply have lists, first start default, yep. Does it need to have children? No, it does not, because you can directly set the type and state. Type dot state. Good, good. Neat. Just need to fix formatting here. Format selection. Good. Mm-hmm. This is not needed anymore. These are not needed anymore. Look how cleaner it is. And this one is not needed anymore. And this one is not needed anymore. Yes, cleaning. Yeah. So this should work, I guess. So when the button is pressed, it finds which button is pressed using get hovered. I said not clean, but works. And then just based on the row and column, which you set it while you initialize the grid, in the I've lost it in here somewhere. Then the button itself know where it is located, so you can just do stuff. Good. Run. Okay, it returns the binary grid. Sadly, it's 0, 0. Probably because the rows and columns are still at 0, 0 by default. I think. Rows and columns. Yeah, it uses this size. Sure. Here you go. Yeah, currently I'm doing the data binding, but in principle you should be able just to click and draw. At the moment it's not working. So just set the cells. add conditions, run simulation, save it to file, and then use it in the game itself, like make levels, update the grid. Yeah. Yeah, but at the moment we have index out of array. There's also, I guess, I could show the initial design, which used different kind of physics. Top, wrong one. Main scene. Yeah, the initial design was like this, which is just basically used collisions, rigid shape, so engine features. Let's hope it does run. I did make a bit of changes. Yeah. Yeah, it uses collisions to detect where to go, but eventually just became too cumbersome and hard to test. But as you can see, this one moves in zigzag pattern, and based on the neighboring cells, it moves the dots. And just run it back and then check if simulation is completed. Or you could just do the example like this. Not sure if it does work. Yeah, simple thing. Still quite early in development, but in principle this is how it goes. And yeah, I switched to a bit more concrete solution, which does not use physics engines, it just uses math matrices. Because in principle it's just matrices, but then it goes into how do you display it. Yeah, and at the moment we have a problem of index was outside the bounds. Because when we initialize, where is my code? When I initialize grid view model, it initializes this with zeros. So I guess when I press bind, it does not actually set it. Oh, because the control's numeric value is actually zeros. Let's run it. Yeah, numeric value is 0. Uh-huh. While grid VM is binding. We go to the settings tab. And the grid itself has a margin container. Set rows and columns. It's grid container UI. So this value does not go into the view model value on startup. On startup. Grid container UI. Rows, columns. Export. Grid container on the ready. Rows, columns. That's the correct one, but when we press update, we then take from the inputs, input tab. Grid container and grid VM. Let's see. Hey. Okay, that is loaded. And goes into the bindings. Say that hey, the buttons will be updated by this. We make another grid from it. So our binary grid is the correct size, 714. And then we bind the button methods. Continue. Okay. Let's hope. It does not work. No. It's either the resource is not loaded or binding does not work. Button pressed. Click. Okay, the event works. Get the button. Of course, it's magic basically. Which is a person does not like. Why is it doing this? Okay, button row, button column, button state empty. The state did not change. And type input. Okay, so the type did change. But the state did not. Let me guess. Yep. State. Cell states from index. It's correct state and correct type. That's not right. And continue. Okay. So I guess it's just the visuals not updated. Which should be in the cell button. Okay, it's trying to update the visual. State path. Texture. Resource loaded. State path. Maybe it's... Let's try differently. Resource path. State path. Do not use the load method. Because the data is definitely going. Huh? Resource path to... Is it texture null? Yeah, the texture is null. Mm-hmm. Like, okay. Resource path, state path. And then just assign the texture like this. Maybe? Whenever a resource is loaded from path, possible cyclic resource inclusion. Okay, you cannot do that. Maybe then we get the load. Texture 2D. And state path. Maybe? Maybe it's because it's not loaded. Mm-hmm. Okay, don't need this one, don't need this one, don't need it, don't need it. Continue. Nope. Ah, that is why I don't like it. Like, come on, just set it. Set the path. And just go. Sell button. Was the resource from the pilot system located at path? The resource is loaded on the method call unless it's referenced already elsewhere in another script or in the scene. So it's a singleton. To avoid unnecessary delays when logging something multiple times, either store the resource variable. Note the resource path can be obtained right-clicking on the resource in the file system doc, choosing copy path. So is it just because it's not loaded up? Because if I made it like texture 2D, some texture, equals load. Where's the path to that? Okay, close this one. Copy the path to state. Copy path. Come on. So technically should set everything to this texture? No. But why? Google time. Godot. Change texture. You need to lock in the locked image for editing. Why? Texture 2D 2D equals image texture, create from image not really image. Native image data type contains image data which can be converted to an image texture and provides commonly used image processing method. The maximum width and height for image can be assigned texture property to an object directly and must be converted now to image texture first. Image. Sure, new image. Does new image has... Nope, it does not have parameters. Load. Yeah, this is dumb. This is so dumb. We just want to give you a resource path and you just change it. Yep. It will not. Change texture resource path and runtime. Yeah, I want to change it and don't replace it. Load. Handled. Or is it just strong state? Okay, change these. Add a breakpoint. Click the button. And the breakpoint says what? The breakpoint says that the state is correct one. The state path is a resource. Cell states .dd. Cell states.dd. Copy path. Is it the correct path? Yes, it is the correct path. Resource loader exists. Why is it not updating? Cell state texture angle. Maybe it has an update. Force update transform. Refresh. Nope. Pre-propagate. Resize. Show. Oops. Does not even load on initially. Maybe because it's not instantiated. Get instance ID. It gets something. I think it's just maybe just not instantiated. How do you do this again? Load. Was it on there already? Could be. Probably override. Ready. Add child. Maybe, yeah, I just did not add any. Yes! Okay, that is more clear. So the problem was, this is okay, that by default, if you add an object here, it does not add to the tree. Hi Sona. Sona? Sona wants some pets. Yeah, so by default, it does not add anything to the tree. So of course it does not update because it's not in the tree. Now let's see if it actually works with the loading methods. Click. It worked. Kind of. Almost. Change it. Yeah. It works. Let's go. Again, kind of, because the indexes are wrong. But it does seem to work. Left is up. Up is A. Okay, the indexes are definitely wrong for the cell states. But it does work. Let me increase the size. Look at this. Yeah, data binding. I think. Okay. So need to check on the indexes, because that's definitely not correct. Indexes. Are my announce not correct? Likely. Enums. I'm lost. A, B, up, down, left. It's left, and right. So it's easier just to switch it up. It could be that reordering it in the designer does not actually change the indexes. That could be the case. Wait, where's my grid? Hey grid. Huh? My grid disappeared. Huh? Huh? What? What is this nonsense? Hmm. Empty. Okay, at least empty works. Somehow it managed to not add any icons. What? This is so odd. Base path. Type to string. Oh, can I... Do we need that show? I don't think so. What? Why is it random size now? Huh? I'm confused. Wait. Run it. Okay. Columns 1. I know what happened. Yeah. I know what happened. As it's a tool, it did change the amount of... I think I need to change it to not a tool. Yeah. It just decided, oh yeah, I will add a bunch of buttons. Just because I changed the tooling. Already. Wait, then how does it do? What in the hell? This is not how it should be. Rows. 7 columns. 7. It's not. Huh? Wait, let me check the CM files. scene files. Rows, columns. Double designer. Seems to be okay. So why is it full? Maybe when update pass it should clear things. Okay, go to level designer. Into the grid container guy. Fourteen, 7. Run it. Sort of okay. The icons did not load. Things are not pressing. What the hell? It worked just recently. Funky behaviors. Maybe just restart Godot. Maybe. Maybe it's the engine. It's just the engine that's bugging out. Okay. Three, 4. Seems okay. Seems okay. The icons stop loading. Grid icon. Okay. Run it. Click it. Stopped working. Amazing. Okay, I'm not sure what happens. It could be that they just added a bunch of visuals where it should not have. Though I do think it's... Okay. So let's discuss for what did we do, and then I guess call it a day. So looking at the changes, we did add a bunch of models for a cell, which I'm not actually using. Interface for a cell, which says type and state, that has position. Then we added a custom type called cell button, which handles or stores the state, its location, and based on the state, updates the textures. Yes. It does that. And we then refactored a bit of code in the view model, level designer, so we could use those cell buttons. It made the code quite a bit more neat, as we can simply pass in the row and column now, and directly set the state type and state based on the button we use, again from the rows and columns, because we did not have this information before. And same in the level designer, it seems to be okay now. So yeah, I think that's a good time to end this. My cat is asking me something. It's asking. Oh. Yep. Good time to end it, and next time we'll be figuring out why it stopped working. Like minutes ago it was working just fine, and now it's not. There was something with the row sizes. It literally just stopped updating anything. Amazing. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'll be stopping the recording in YouTube. So bye bye YouTube.